All right, we're gonna see. How the fuck did Anthony Edwards
Jason,
know?
anything you want us
Drop
to
off
hit
my
or
nigga.
you
What's it called?
go back over, or do you want us to close it out?
No, I don't have anything. I guess the only question I have is who decided to go with the boy band look first? Was it you or was it Dirk?
These niggas dropped LeBron off, bro. Come on, let me hear that.
On virtually, he's away with his family. I'm here at home. Some of our subsequent conversations this summer will be virtually, so bear with us if there's any technical issues that we iron out along the way, but hopefully we'll be in person some, but also definitely virtual as we are today. We got a great opportunity to sit with LeBron, talk to him about the series he just played versus the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Come on, bro.
What he experienced, what he faced, what he thinks of the T-Wolves. I thought they were very impressive
throughout
the series.
Literally,
We've seen a team here mature.
Built to them niggas,
they made a big trade last summer. Cat going to New York and DiVincenzo and Julius Randle going to the T-Wolves, and I think they've done an amazing job this year finding an identity with those new pieces. Not easy to do, so big shout out to their coaching staff and players for how they've been able to kind of matriculate through the season, find this identity, and be an incredible team when it counts the most. And we'll also talk a little bit about Anthony Edwards and the leap he's made recently. This series showed, I think, some different paces, changing gears. Hope you guys enjoy.
My bad for the commercials, bro. Can't stop them bitches. My bad for the commercials. Can't stop.
Mind the game.
Yes, sir. Back again, baby.
Back at it. Hey, first of all, condolences. You know, obviously, sad to see you guys go out of the playoffs.
Yeah, man.
Before we dig into that, though, I think it's probably appropriate that we send a major congrats shout out to Coach Pop.
Oh, wow. Yeah, for sure. There's no way we even start this conversation without even talking about Pop and what he means for the game, what he meant, obviously, for just the NBA, San Antonio, I mean, West Point. I mean, all the stops that he had. I mean,
I need to hear how
to be able to cross paths. I mean, we've crossed paths with Coach Pop so many times, you know, and I had one opportunity to actually play for him in the Olympics in 2004. And obviously going against him 3 times in the NBA Finals. And I mean, what can you say? I mean, you could say, I mean, he has, you talk about the superlatives when it comes to Coach Pop, man, his list is, you know, out of this world. But I think what a lot of people have found out, if you ever got an opportunity to encounter a one-on-one with him, or even just in crossing, how great of a fucking guy that guy is, man. And it makes sense of how unbelievable a coach he was, you know, because of the person he was.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you look at the any playoff wins, 170, right?
Wow.
So,
I was maybe and be a part, you know, just so much respect and so much honor, and just, you know, definitely will be missed. You know, definitely will be missed. But obviously, we know most important is health is most important, but you know, we can't.
Yeah,
we cannot
great
trio over there.
All right, let me.
From, you know, Benny Del Negro to, you know, Avery Johnson, 2-year careers.
First, how's the knee?
Oh man, this is my first in my 22-year career. This is my first knee injury.
Right.
You know, I've had, you know, the regular tendonitis and
they be trying to tell my nigga, bro.
It's the first time I've ever had a sustained knee injury where I had to okay, you got to get off your feet. You know, you got to kind of be shelved for a minute. And you know, I knew as soon as when the impact happened with me and DiVincenzo, you know, I felt it right away. My knee locked up, and that's why I stayed on the ground for quite a minute to see, you know, if the knee will kind of release a little bit. You know, but I knew right down there was a pain that I had.
I just feel like normal niggas, dog, we call bullshit on any
obviously, when I was running back to close out and he collided to me, you know, my knee bent inward, and that's the MCL injury that I had.
That's
so,
what
you know, 4 to 6 weeks, the docs told me. I have 4 or 6 weeks now. That's the benefit. That's the benefit of not, you know, going on in the postseason. Obviously, I wish I was still going, but you know, unfortunately, even if we would have won game, you know, at 5 at home, you know, I would have probably missed 6 and 7. You know, and even further. But
that's fine.
You know, I have some time though. I have some time to get it right, and you know, and get back to full strength as far as my knee. But it was a pain that that next morning, man, after I had told the docs, I was like, listen, it's sore right now, yes. And, this is Wednesday night after the game. And I said, if I wake up Thursday morning and it didn't feel any better, then, Friday morning, let's get an MRI
MCL, though,
Friday
you
morning.
got to.
Well, when I woke up Thursday morning and tried to get out of bed, I was like, holy shit.
That shit do feel like your leg could break, though.
I said, I can't wait till Friday. I need to go today. So
that really was it for your season.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. Yeah. Unfortunately, but
well, at least it's it's containable.
Bullshit or not, chat.
It's non-surgical.
Y'all calling LeBron bullshit.
4 to 6 weeks. Get yourself right in this wheelhouse of trying to get some time off. And in that respect, like, what is your mindset right now? Like, it's always weird. Like when I played, you add a new variable to it, getting healthy now.
Right.
You have a forced variable.
Right.
But like when I was in your shoes, you lose a series, like you'd have these different kind of thoughts. One, sometimes you'd be, devastated. Other times you'd be over analytical. Other times you just want space. My bandwidth is done. I need to get away. Like, where are you right now with the way this kind of season? I was a big season for you guys, right? Like a big trade, trying to ram this team together as quickly as possible. Had a hell of a run getting into the playoffs. And, styles make fights, and it was a tough matchup for you guys. But where's your mindset before we talk about the series?
Like you just said, Steve, I think it's you unravel all of those emotions, and I've unraveled all of them in the sense of like, giving me space, going back, analytically seeing if there was ways what could I have done better, what we could have done better, thinking about the individual matchups, thinking about their team versus our team, things where we could have did better, and it all has entered my mind since Wednesday night when it was over with. So, I've had a few days that kind of just, each day has been something.
I need to bring my nigga Bronny on, man.
And
I need to hear how he thought.
Now, with it being quite a few days after the fact, and watching a lot of the other series now and seeing how they unfold. But yeah, you said it, man. I've had all those emotions, to the point where it's like, what the shit? We entered the season well, but like you said, when it comes to the postseason, man, matchups sometimes doesn't determine how well of a regular season you had. It's the matchups, and we ran into a damn good matchup, a team that's been battle tested, a team that's hungry, a team that a lot of youth, but also experience at the same time. And another team that's trying to make the next step, and they were a worthy opponent, that's for sure.
How does kind of these like media narratives enter your frame of mind at this time of year? Like, for example, because it's the Lakers, because it's you and Luka, it's like it's all about how did the Lakers lose this series? Really, what happened here is Minnesota's a hell of a team and they won the series. Like, how do you deal with some of that when you try to process all this?
For me, I've definitely learned over the years that teams win championships, and it's never always. Teams always win championships, and yes, individuals get a lot of the accolades and the praise, but a collective group, wins championships. Now, you have your big guys that make big plays at the end of games, throughout the game, or whatever the case may be, but ultimately, teams win championships, and I understand that, and it's never just about me and Luka. It was never just about Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. It was always Minnesota versus the Lakers, and I understand that, and I am at a point in my career now where I don't lose sleep over that. Like, fuck, how did me and Luka lose? Well, there's 8 other guys on the floor. So
of course,
So
it's always It's the nature of the business. Right?
Yeah,
It's the nature of the business. When you've played 22 years,
that's what happened.
Is that like
niggas couldn't stop them
developing
niggas.
roster. You traded for a big generational piece, but that doesn't mean the roster is balanced, is fully formed, and you don't have time once getting Luka to make moves necessarily.
They need to get rid of Hachimura ass.
Like a way Minnesota is. Like Minnesota could trade pieces out, but essentially they're a balanced roster.
You
could say I'd rather this guy than that guy, but they have the positions covered.
Yeah. And the only thing they changed, in the offseason, they brought in two guys. They kind of lost a big piece. They lost, obviously Cat, but brought in Julius and DiVincenzo, and the other guys came back, So the experience of being in the Western Conference Finals last year, DiVincenzo's played in big games, and those guys just learn and continue to build. Their regular season, I don't think their regular season gave them it didn't give any of us or the narrative that how good of a team they actually were.
Yeah,
They were dealing with a lot of injuries. They were dealing with trying to learn each other. But when the postseason comes and you have that team of collective group, they have a strong 8 to 9 guys. From their starting lineup to Naz Reid to DiVincenzo to Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And those guys they come in and they just play extremely hard,
No cap, though. Them starters, though.
From my perspective, there's two things I think that they had that you guys are looking for. One is an identity. They formed one this year. You guys are just trying to figure yours out, right? And those collective experiences of being there, looking at each other when you're down 15 in game 3 or whatever it is and say, we've been here before. We know what to do. Instead, you're looking at each other like, I've never been here with you. How are you feeling? How am I? That stuff, those scars, those lessons. So I think they built an identity this year. I think the other part of this was just speed. Yeah. They have foot speed to defend, to attack. You guys had positional size. Though you'd play small for the most part in the playoffs, you guys are 6'6", 6'10" across the board, other than Gabe. So, you have the size. You tried, obviously, as you did in the regular season, to a lot of success, kind of zone up, get up in the gaps, trying to take the primary ball handler out of the game. But, when they have that quickness he's so explosive, and he's improved the playmaking.
Exactly. He's improved so much with his playmaking, and you've seen him make the jump. Just from last year's playoff run all the way to just one playoff series right there. He was super patient, even when we were getting up in the gaps and, sometimes we would double him, sometimes we would smoke, sometimes we would just be up in the gaps just trying to make him think, and we did. There was, he had one quote where like, their defense is confusing, they're making me think, and he figured it out, so I commend him, man. He just,
Pat, I guess some people are just
busting their ass. He's really just going to the rim anytime he wants.
You saying my game isn't playoff ready?
That shit was crazy.
He grew throughout our series that I think is going to benefit him throughout, the rest of this run.
But 100%. And your guys' strategy felt like, for me, whether you were in a soft blitz or just in the gaps, you were leaving guys in the corner, coming high, loading to the ball, trying to bait him into those passes that maybe he's not sure the guy's going to get a look, or he's got to throw it over hands, trying to confuse him. And I think, to your point, he did a lot of things better this year than he has in the past. He slowed down.
Yeah.
He changed paces. He would drive and he would hesitate slightly instead of just all one speed.
Yeah.
To give him a chance to see, is he coming? Is he not coming? Where's this pass? Where's my window? Do I have a layup, or do I need to get off it? He also, I think, sometimes got into a crowd, and instead of making a difficult pass, he made simple passes, which in the past I don't think he was as willing to make. That's a huge step, right? Just the simple one, get off it and allow your teammate to have a closeout. Or a 2-on-1, right? Like, that's the way to bust the way you guys were trying to load to him.
Yeah.
Tricky because the foot speed piece. So for me, I'd love to hear how you guys approached it. But, even when you tried to double him a little bit, guys were reluctant to run out and double him because he's so explosive. So then he has the time. Right, the time to look around and pick his spot.
Yeah, and that's why we kind of changed pitches. We wanted to try to change pitches on him as much as possible, because we want, you don't never give one player, no great players, one steady diet of the same thing, but even when you try to double him, his ability to race double teams, to split double teams, to get creative. He's still strong too. So it's not like he's a frail guy where you can double him and be super aggressive with him and get him on.
Yeah.
He's definitely learned over the time, but he's strong. He has low center of gravity. He has a great handle. He can shoot the ball extremely well. And, to add on to what we said a couple times before in some of our older episodes about believing in your teammates, making them feel even better than what they are as well. And he's trusting his teammates to make plays. I think, man, listen, we got to give Minnesota their play. That's a damn good team, man.
Very good team.
I'm looking forward to seeing their next matchup, either between, Golden State or Houston.
Yeah, for sure. There's a clip of you telling Ant after the game, take the next step.
Yeah.
Tell me, like in your words, as somebody that you have played with on the USAB stuff and the Olympics gold medal together, obviously there's some mentorship. Like, well, what did that moment mean to you when you say that to a young player that you've shared the floor with?
I think that moment for me is like, understanding and recognizing the next generation and someone who can do it and be great. And be great for a long time in our league. I think that's what our game is all about, is being able to pass it down to the next generation, and they can continue to do great things. And for me, being out there, in my 22nd season, playing against a young, up-and-coming, superstar in the flesh, and Anthony Edwards, and watching him in the postseason last year make those steps to get to the Western Conference Finals and fall short to Dallas, and then have a full summer with him in an Olympic team and seeing how great he was, just listening and just soaking in everything from myself to KD.
He couldn't have been playing his best in the what's it called?
You could just see he was just like a little kid in a candy store.
Enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, like super energetic and happy and just like super, like, he was just grateful that he was in that opportunity to be there. And for me to just like, tell him to take the next step, like, it doesn't always mean, okay, well, Western Conference Finals, and now you got to be in the finals. It's like, take the next step and just, you as a person, you as a player, continue to get better and better. Your time's going to come. Whenever I can't decide when that's going to be. Sometimes we have no control over when that next step, as far as being, going to the finals and winning. We're not always have the opportunity to do that, but like, we do have control over making the next step in our own individual journey. Yeah. And I think that's what it was about, because I love seeing that, man. I love seeing, I love seeing Jason Tatum take that next step. I love seeing, and now I see Anthony taking that next step. It's a proud feeling for me, as a player, been in the league for so long.
Yeah, you admire it when you see someone's putting the time in and they're improving. Like you said, for Ant to have that type of openness and attitude around USAB, coming in with like, this is a great opportunity, like immediately it's going to give you excitement for his journey, because he wants to learn, you can tell. But I think that, that buy-in of continually improving, someone like, he can rely on his athleticism, but to take the next step, he's got to be a great teammate. He's got to be coachable. He's got to make his teammates believe he's bought in. I think you could see that, there's always been a little chatter around Rudy or around Randall, and I thought they both were laser focused, simplified their games, were efficient, and that's a lot of it comes from the head of the snake. Is he willing to make the simple play pass, make his teammates better? Because I mean, Rudy had a great game, and he deserves all the credit in the world, but that his opportunities came from the pressure Ant puts on the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything that Rudy did in that game 5 came because Ant approached the game the way he did those first 4 games. Now all the
I need to see this.
and every
fuck Rudy.
How far do you think they can go?
Well, I personally think. I'm looking at the competition in the rest of the field, which is a lot of great teams left. But I could see them, for sure getting into the Western Conference Finals, if not the finals. I think obviously health is wealth.
Sure.
Who could they?
Postseason, but I think if they have all the makeups, they have shooting, they have toughness, they have size, they have foot speed, they have playmaking,
defensive
they have experience,
versatility.
they have defensive versatility, which you need in the postseason. And those guys, they play extremely hard, and they have a like you said, you gotta give credit to the coaching staff too. They are putting those guys in the right position to be successful. So, I think they have an opportunity if at least Western Conference Finals, if not then the finals. I mean, they have the makeup for that. I think so.
We got to see if
it's going to
Steph
be
don't
some
come
exciting
back.
series. You know, I obviously think OKC's been outstanding this year.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a great series. We got a Game 7.
Man.
Taping today on a Sunday. Warriors Rockets, which has been a fascinating series.
Yeah.
You know, and the next round's even going to be more incredible.
Wait, if you were a patient at any Michigan behavioral health facility, including Detroit Behavioral, Stonecrest Center, or any...
Come on, what the fuck is this?
You know what I love more than the perfect assist? The perfect story. And I've got just the one for you. Audible knows that there's no greater thrill.
Second season playing an entire half.
Got y'all, man. Look,
how'd it feel?
playing the second half.
Yeah, I've done it before.
You've done it before.
Yeah.
How'd you feel?
I felt in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't tired.
Nigga just
I wasn't looking for a sub. I wasn't. If it came, cool.
Sure.
I would have accepted it. But we had an opportunity to tie the series at 2-2. You know, on the road versus a great team, and the coaches rolled the dice, and we rolled with it.
Yep.
You know, and we didn't make enough plays. But I didn't leave. I left that game extremely tired and extremely like, whoo, shit, because it was a postseason game.
Right.
Not because
Right.
I played the whole second half. You know, I was tired as hell because I gave my whole money, my body, my mind, my soul to the game for 48 minutes. I was extremely tired.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because, I played, 24 straight minutes in the second half. No, we had an opportunity and we didn't counter it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think.
No, I feel that. Once you really put your mind
aside
to
from,
it, bro, like
everyone's critique
right,
of
bro, I'm ready
shortening the
to do
bench
this
to 0 in the second half, like you got to push buttons, you got to try things, right? Like you can lose, or the coaches have a feeling of what's going on, where the team's at, where the desperation is. The reality is they're a more complete roster at this stage of the story. So for you guys to win, you have to play above your level always. Right, you have to make shots at a high clip. You have to be taking care of the basketball, not giving up. It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Just didn't happen.
And that's what we talked about. Like you're right, Steve. We talked about that. Like the possession game. We lost the possession game in the series, and the possession game came down to offensive rebounds, turnovers. Loose balls. Like they're a more complete team than we were. We had our opportunities, and when you have your opportunities, you can't have a high turnover game and allowing them to get fast break points.
Okay.
You can't guard as hard as we was guarding and then give up 2 or 3 straight offensive rebounds. You just can't. You
Which
can't do that.
happened multiple times.
Which happened multiple times. So you have to be able to control the controllables. And for the series, we didn't do that. And that resulted in even more of a reason why we weren't able to extend the series.
Yeah, it's always funny, the narratives, and I mean, would it have made a big difference to put Gabe in for a minute here or there or whatever? Like, but we overreact.
Yeah,
we overreact.
Sure.
They make an in the moment decision, and we always like to say, well, punish people when it didn't work. At the same time, you lose that game, and there's another problem, right? So at the same time, coach, that's part of being a coach. You got to be brave. You got to make decisions on the fly. Sometimes they're right.
Yeah, and none of us, and by the way, none of us question JJ and the coaching staff for what happened. Obviously, Gabe and Vando, guys that come, have given us so many great minutes. They definitely felt the way, and because they're competitors. Shit, we all feel like we could get in and make a moment happen. But it wasn't a decision which JJ told us. It wasn't a decision that was based on guys not being able to do the job. Right. It was a decision based on the feeling of the game and the momentum of the game. And none of us looked at him or the coaching staff anyway for the decision that he made. And shit, it was our fault that we didn't come through.
And that's part of making that decision, is knowing that your guys have the maturity and the team first attitude to be upset because they're competitors, but at the same time to be like, I'll be ready for the next game.
Yep.
That's a part of a winning mentality in a group.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Yeah. So how are you going to fill this gap of taking care of this knee? You got a little space, little rest and recovery.
Yeah.
I know you don't like to sit still.
No, I don't.
So how are you going to fill your time here?
Well, obviously, number one is to get back healthy. I'll be able to do some small stuff within the next week or two just to kind of get the mobility back into the knee and things of that nature. You know, my youngest son is headed off to college soon, so you know that's another bird out the nest. A very emotional moment coming up.
Come on, Bryce. Can you become a hooper, bro? I'm trying to tap it, bro.
But my
tired of them niggas disgracing the James family, man.
I'll be in a lot of gyms this summer. She's with her travel league team out in California. You know, they go all over. They've been to Reno, Nevada. They go to Las Vegas. They play all over California. So just spend a lot of time with her, and then you know, take some vacation time with the family. Some of the times that you lose, you know, obviously when you're in the 8-9 month season. And see what this next, you know, what the next journey looks like. You know, I haven't had the conversation with the family yet as far as me going forward or whatever the case.
Man, I'm capping, nigga. You were capping.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, it's good for you to get some space. I've done the volleyball thing, by the way. My wife played in college, and I have a daughter playing D3, so I've been in all those gyms, all those tournaments in Vegas, and all that stuff. Those were fun times, man. So enjoy that.
I'm looking forward to that. Which I heard. Listen, I heard you got a new thing. You want to speak about that?
Oh,
congratulations to you.
Well, this is you know, you got me rolling here in this media space. So gonna be on Prime Video doing NBA games next year and studio work. Thank you, appreciate it.
Yes,
great team over there. Taylor Rooks, Dirk, my buddy, BG. UD, a few others. It's going to be an exciting project, you know, to create a new show and a new way of covering the game, hopefully, with new voices. So definitely excited. So you're getting me the early reps here.
Listen, I got you, man. Listen, I cracked a smile and laughed a little bit when the news broke, and I seen Dirk tweet out, "I got to carry this guy." Now I got to carry this guy again, like I did all those years in Dallas.
Yeah, I stayed quiet about that. I paid for every breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 6 years, but you know. That's just a part of the gig.
That's a part of the gig, right?
That's part of the gig, man. You got to take the youngster, you know, let him become a man under your tutelage, and then what does he do? He shits on you.
Oh man, that's funny.
Jason, anything you want us to hit, or you go back over, or do you want us to close it out?
No, I don't have anything. I guess the only question I have is, who decided to go with the boy band look first? Was it you or was it Dirk?
The video, man. Brian out the playoffs. And my Pistons out the playoffs. But I guess we gonna still watch. But we gotta pick a team though. I don't know who I'm picking. Like I just be watching the games. Don't even care who win. No kid. I hate that shit. We got a lot of good shit to watch today, man.